أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد عبد الله ورسوله وخاتم النبيين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against shaitan and his evil ways. I begin by glorifying the exalted name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful. Thee alone we worship, and from Thee alone we seek help. And we only ask for a straight path from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send peace and salutations, or rather bless the soul of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, together with his committed household and all those who raised the banner of Islam till the day of Qiyamah, inshallah. My brothers and sisters, I would like to sincerely apologize because I've got a very heavy flu, so don't feel irritated when I keep on sneezing or coughing. But alhamdulillah, the topic for today is the importance of implementing the Quran in our daily lives. Now, this sounds like a very simple topic because all of us, or most of us here, we belong to one group or the other regarding studying of the Holy Quran, either on a daily basis. Some of you do it with your families after every Fajr, which is customary amongst a lot of Muslim families, that after Fajr, together with your family, you read an ayah or two and try to do an analysis of that. Or at most, once a week, a lot of us, we belong to some Quranic study group whereby we do a critical analysis of different ayats of the Holy Quran, alhamdulillah. Now, you look at also at our learning centers, particularly the Darul Ulums, the study of the Quran is also of paramount importance, study of the Hadith as well coupled with that. But now, the question that we all ask ourselves is, all these things that we are studying from the Quran, how much of it do we practice in real life? Now, the answer to this is very easy to get. You just have to look at what is transpiring around, what is taking place around, not only in our lives as Muslims, but also what is happening around our communities, around our country. Then you'll get the answer if we are really implementing what we are studying from the Quran. Now, before I carry on, let me take you a little bit to history and draw a parallel of what happened, what transpired in history and what is happening today. Let's draw some similarities. I'll briefly look at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From Madrasa, we are told that the Quran came down because of the immense evil that took place during that time. The Quran came as a result of the unbearable hardships that people were going through during that time. Now, remember, Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula at that time was so steeped in darkness that not even anybody wanted to conquer that region. I repeat again, that particular place, Arabia, was steeped in darkness, in ignorance, in barbaric acts, to such an extent that nobody even wanted to go and conquer it. Now remember, all the conquerors around the world, they identified certain countries to take over because of what those countries possessed. Either those countries possessed human resources or natural resources. Like for instance in Africa, we all know that the conquerors or the colonizers, they took over most of the lands here because of human resource and natural resource. But now in Saudi Arabia, number one, the human resource was so barbaric. The humans were so barbaric that not even one country wanted to go and conquer that country. There was so much killing. And one of the well-known barbaric acts that used to take place that time was the killing of children, particularly the girls, because of the shame that was associated with giving birth to a baby girl. And then the feuds that used to take place, the grudges that used to take place between tribes, it's all recorded. We all know about that. Now, fast forward to today's life. Those who are into media, those who read whatever is happening around the world, you'll be so shocked to find that the focal point today is the issue of homosexualism. Just our neighbor here, Botswana, last week, it had a huge celebration because the Chief Justice there has set aside a law of 1965 that did not allow homosexuals to get married. But then this Chief Justice, the new one, has set aside that law and said man can marry man, woman can marry woman, and there was a huge celebration. In Kenya, same situation. In Uganda, same situation. People are celebrating to sleep with people of the same sex. And this is celebrated. In countries like Tanzania, you remember the World Bank and all these other financial institutions. They withdrew financial aid to these poor countries like Tanzania and Malawi because they did not allow people to get married of the same sex. When they refused to do so, these financial institutions withdrew aid. And people started starving and dying. Until the Chief Justice of those countries overturned the ruling and say, men can marry men, women can marry women. And the other issue that is currently taking place is the issue of abortion. Look at in America, there is squabbles between states. Other states are saying, no, it's okay, you can abort. Others say no, within 6 weeks. Others say no, when you just identify the heartbeat, then you cannot abort. But as long as you don't identify the heartbeat, then you can abort. So this issue of killing children, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not kill your children for fear of want, because you are not the one that is provided. I'm the one that is providing for them. So these are the parallels that we are looking. This is the repeat of history that we are witnessing today. But now all these problems, hair-raising problems, how do we solve them? Again, let's go back to history. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may Allah be pleased with his soul, he was so disturbed. He even said, I would rather withdraw from this society, which is steeped so low and into darkness and barbaric acts. What did the Prophet do? He withdrew and went to the cave until his passion for a solution was so burning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered him. And he gave him the Quran. So the very first few verses or surahs that was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ used to recite over and over again, and again go back to the cave, withdraw himself from the society. Now this is the most important part that I want us to try and
learn something from. The Prophet did not want to have anything to do with what was currently taking place at that particular time. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 2 surahs, He revealed them to him. What did He say? He says, "Oh you who is shrouded, oh you who are covered up, it's time now to rise. Don't only cover yourself, don't only, the covering of the Prophet ﷺ here is symbolic of seclusion. So these 2 surahs, Muzammil and Mudaththir, they symbolize seclusion. They symbolize a person who is in distress. They symbolize a person who is fed up of what is happening with the society. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that is not the answer to seclude yourself and cover yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Rise, O Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." And remember, Muzammil and Mudaththir is the other names of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But then he had to come out of the cave and start solving the problems of the society. Now, the solution that he came out with was to make sure that he participates in every sphere of life during that time. He had to set an example as a proper father who does not kill his children. He showed love to the children, his own children, the children of his wife, that is Hazrat Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her. Remember, she came into marriage with her own children from previous. But now till today, some of us didn't even know that some of those children were the children of Khadija, may Allah be pleased with them. Because of the love that he showed to them, he did not discriminate. He took them like his own biological children. That is love. There was a reason why he did that. To send a message to those who were killing the children. And then he came with issues of solving the problem of multiple marriages. Polygamy. I know this is a very bitter subject, particularly to our women folk. But now if we still treat it as a bitter subject, the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to marry other women folk. Why? To avoid issues like prostitution. How many of us men here, John, I'm using a colloquial word here, how many of us have got spare wheels? How many of us lie to our women and say we are going for business trips or going for business meetings when we are engaged in some hanky-panky with our mistresses? And yet when we look at the Quran, when Allah gives us a solution in the Quran, we don't want to implement it. What we do is we have spare wheels, mistresses, involved in hanky-pankies. Now, another way of solving the problems, we can see here in our societies what is transpiring. I was looking at 2 women in the US, the 2 Muslim Congress women who became participants in the US House of Assembly. I was listening at a conflict, this Ihlam and Rashida, the hard times they were giving to Donald Trump regarding these evil laws that are being implemented. Now a Muslim woman, young Muslim woman, stand up against the so-called most powerful president in the world and showing him a middle finger, sorry for the language. A Muslim woman. And when she was asked and said, where do you have all these guts to tell the president off? What did she say? She said, I depend on the Quran. The Quran says it's my obligation to set things right when they are wrong. I depend on my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, when I see things wrong, there is 3 things that I should do. Either I put it right with my hands, or with my speech, or I must feel sorry about it. And feeling sorry about it is the weakest form of Iman. This is a Muslim woman. We go to London, we see our brother, Mr. Khan. He's the mayor of London. When they asked around, they say, but why did you choose a Muslim, a son of an immigrant from Pakistan, to be the mayor of one of the most progressive cities in the world? Non-Muslims, they answered, what did they say? They say, because this is the best person for the job. This is the best person for the job. One man out when Donald Trump came and started talking his nonsense in London, one man, this Mr. Khan, confronted him and said, you are wrong, you are a murderer. One man out. These are the people, examples that I'm setting that stands up like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was instructed to come out of the cave and go and solve the problems. The question that I'm leaving you with is, can any one of us have guts to go and challenge the mayor and say we can take that position of being mayor of the capital city of Pretoria? Including myself. How many of us are in the political seat to influence policies in South Africa? When I made a research, I was shocked to find that one woman, and I'm concluding by the way, one woman in South Africa, her name is Sadia Kachalia. I'm sure a lot of you know her. She is the daughter of Ismail Ahmed Kachalia. Remember, Kachalia was known as Molfi Kachalia. Very prominent role player in South Africa during the 40s. He was one of the leaders, or you remember the issue of the past laws when the Indians were protesting against that. We are lied by the media, that the person who was prominent was Mahatma Gandhi. Fine, he played his role. But now, our own Muslim brother, Mr. Ismail Ahmed Kachalia, who talks about him? Today, his descendant, Sadia Kachalia, she sits in the National Executive Committee of the highest decision making in the ANC, the ruling party. A woman alone, Muslim woman. When I met her last week, she gave me some of the proposals that she sent